The wind cut through the snow like a sharp blade. In the desolate roads of northern Canada, Adam sat behind the wheel of the snowplow, his hands gripping the cold metal steering wheel tightly, eyes fixed on the white expanse ahead. The headlights seemed to vanish into the storm. He could barely see a few meters in front of him. The hum of the engine echoed through the quiet, becoming the only sound inside the cabin. The route he was assigned to was no longer on any official map, a road abandoned years ago after a bridge collapse. But tonight, an emergency cleanup was necessary. Old asphalt needed clearing, and Adam, with years of experience, was the only one who could handle this isolated stretch. Silence and solitude were his constant companions, but tonight felt different. The snow thickened, slowing the vehicle down. The pine trees lining the highway cast dark, looming shadows in the headlights. The wind howled between the branches, producing a haunting rhythm that made the hair on Adam's neck stand on end. Occasionally, the drifting snow appeared to move differently, almost purposefully, creating fleeting shapes that vanished the moment he focused on them. A rusted sign on the roadside caught his eye. Tilted and almost buried in snow, it bore no legible markings. It seemed as if this place had been forgotten entirely, erased from maps, leaving only the white expanse of the storm to mark its existence. Suddenly, the engine's hum grew muted. Adam paused, listening to the silence outside the cabin. The wind still raged, but it carried a different rhythm now, as if the storm itself had changed course. A figure, or what appeared to be one, emerged briefly in the headlights. His heart quickened. Slowing the vehicle, he steered carefully, following the tracks barely visible in the snow. An old sedan appeared, its windows frosted over, door half open. Inside, there was no one, only a knocked-over thermos and a forgotten jacket on the seat. Outside, there were no footprints, none. The snow remained untouched, as if the car had appeared there spontaneously. For a brief moment, Adam froze, unsettled by the impossibility of it all. He wanted to turn back, but the road ahead offered no clear path. The white expanse stretched endlessly before him. He exhaled slowly, restarting the engine and pressing forward. The snowflakes continued to swirl in the headlights, each one reflecting the dim light like tiny, erratic sparks. As the kilometers passed, the road became increasingly isolated. The pine trees seemed to grow larger, their shadows deeper, creating a sense of weight on Adam's chest. The engine's low rumble merged with the howl of the wind, creating a peculiar rhythm inside the cabin. For the first time in years, Adam felt a tangible unease settle into him. Ahead, a darker patch of snow caught his attention. At first, he thought it was just the asphalt beneath, but as he neared it, the irregularity became unmistakable, an uneven, broken shape embedded in the snow. He steered slightly to align the wheels with the mark. The tires pressed into the packed snow, and the engine's hum sounded muffled, as if the road itself resisted movement. His eyes scanned the forest lining the road. Shadows stretched and twisted unnaturally in the headlights, and the wind's sound seemed to transform into a low vibration that filled the cabin. Shapes flickered in the periphery of his vision, disappearing when he tried to focus. He told himself it was just fatigue, the isolation, and the storm playing tricks on him. But the feeling of wrongness persisted. After what felt like endless minutes, Adam noticed a small crack in the windshield. At first, he assumed it was something he had overlooked, but the shape of the crack didn't align with the movement of the road. He tried to restart the engine, and for a brief second, the headlights flickered off, plunging the cabin into darkness. The snow was no longer just a barrier. It had become a wall surrounding him. He gripped the steering wheel tighter, eyes fixed ahead, every second stretching, each moment heavier than the last. In the headlights, a shadow moved at the edge of the storm. Not another car, but something bound to the road itself. Adam pressed on, aware that turning back was no longer an option. The path he once knew had dissolved into white, leaving only the storm and the road's unnatural contours. Minutes blurred into hours. The snow, the wind, and the silence coalesced into a relentless pressure. Tires pressed into a road that seemed to shift beneath them. Pine trees morphed into towering silhouettes, and the wind's howl became a rhythm that pulsed against his skull. The vehicle jolted slightly as it passed over a depression in the snow, and Adam corrected the steering quickly, heart pounding. Then, the headlights caught a glimpse of an old, rusted sign buried in snow. Leaning, unreadable, it might have been forgotten decades ago. He approached cautiously. As he scanned the area, footprints appeared briefly, one, then two, and vanished as suddenly as they had appeared. The snow left no trace, as if whatever had been there moved without leaving evidence. Adam's gaze stayed on the road. Engine rumbling, headlights flickering, snow thickening around him, all combined to form a reality that was perfectly logical, yet entirely impossible. He knew the only thing he could do was move forward, but the road itself no longer obeyed the rules he trusted. The white expanse stretched before him, endless, unyielding. The motor's hum, the flickering headlights, the weight of the snow, and the shadows merging with the trees told a single, terrifying truth. He was alone, and the road was no longer the path he knew. Adam exhaled slowly, gripping the wheel tighter, and pressed forward into the storm, the white silence swallowing everything behind him. Adam continued driving, the engine's hum blending with the howl of the northern wind. The white expanse ahead seemed endless, like a void stretching beyond the limits of sight. Every snowflake that fell was thick and heavy, reducing visibility to mere meters. The isolation and silence weighed on him with every passing second, pressing into his mind, making it hard to think, hard to breathe. The headlights illuminated a darker line in the snow. At first, he assumed it was simply the road beneath, but as he approached, the irregularity became undeniable. The line was broken, uneven, as if something was hidden beneath the snow. Carefully, Adam steered over it. The tires pressed into the compacted snow, and the engine groaned, muffled. The road seemed to resist, as though it had a will of its own. He scanned the surrounding forest again. The pines, massive and silent, cast shadows that seemed to move independently of the storm. The wind was no longer just noise. It vibrated, pressing against the cabin, unsettling him. Shapes flickered at the edges of the headlights, appearing and vanishing before his eyes could focus. Fatigue and isolation could not account for this. Something was different. After a few minutes, a small depression appeared in the road. The vehicle jolted as the tires passed over it. Adam corrected the wheel instinctively, heart hammering. Every meter of progress seemed harder than the last, as if the snow and road were conspiring to halt him. Ahead, A rusted, snow-covered sign appeared. Leaning, unreadable, it gave the impression that no one had been here for decades. Then, out of the corner of his eye, Adam noticed footprints in the snow. At first, a single print, then another, and then they vanished. The snow was untouched again, leaving no trace of whoever or whatever had passed. Adam gripped the steering wheel tighter. The engine's hum, the flickering headlights, and the relentless snow combined to create a reality that was unnervingly tangible and utterly incomprehensible at the same time. He knew turning back was impossible. The road had swallowed any path he might have taken. Forward was the only option. The white expanse in the headlights stretched on, uniform and unbroken, yet strangely distorted. The depression in the road widened, forcing the tires to struggle through thick snow. Pine trees loomed overhead, their shadows merging into enormous, distorted shapes. Adam's mind tried to rationalize the scene. Drifting snow, shadows, isolation, but reason offered no comfort. Suddenly, the engine cut out. The headlights flickered once and went dark. The cabin was plunged into silence, save for the muffled sound of snow hitting the roof. Adam's breath formed clouds in the cold air inside the cabin. Outside, the snow piled up, forming a wall around him. The tires were stuck in a mix of snow and ice. There was no way forward, no way back. The road had disappeared. Adam sat, gripping the steering wheel, heart racing. The depression in the snow ahead seemed to stretch infinitely. Every instinct screamed at him to move, but the vehicle remained immobile. It was as if the road itself had become a trap, a structure designed to hold him indefinitely within the storm and silence. Minutes blurred into hours. Time lost meaning. The wind howled like a living thing, bending the trees and throwing snow in patterns that seemed purposeful. Adam understood something crucial. The road was no longer a physical path. It had transformed into an endless labyrinth, its laws no longer bound by reason or gravity. His survival instincts told him he was trapped, and the realization hit him with a cold, unrelenting weight. He tried the ignition again. Nothing. The tires spun briefly in the thick snow, but the vehicle refused to move. He exhaled slowly, each breath visible in the cabin air. The shadows of the pines, distorted by the swirling snow, pressed in around him. The white expanse ahead became a void, a space that seemed to swallow all light. Adam's eyes remained fixed forward. He understood now. There was no escape, no clear path, no next step. The snow, the storm, the road, and the silence had merged to form a perfect trap. The only thing left was waiting, watching the endless white, the mind slowly succumbing to the weight of absolute isolation. The headlights' flicker returned for a moment, revealing the empty expanse before him. No horizon, no landmarks, only the infinite white. The snow, dense and unyielding, pressed against the vehicle like a wall. The engine hummed faintly, the sound muffled and distorted. Adam exhaled again, gripping the wheel tightly. The road was gone. The storm had consumed it, and in doing so had claimed him. In the silence, the truth settled. He was entirely alone, and the path he had trusted, the road he had driven for years, was no longer real. The snow and silence were absolute. There would be no movement, no escape, no way back. The road had transformed into a void, and Adam's world had contracted to the confines of the snowbound cabin. He sat, staring ahead, waiting. The storm, the snow, and the endless white had become his only reality. There was nowhere to go, only forward, into nothing.